The great hall was quiet. It was not an ordinary hall. It floated in deep space, far from any star. Built by the Galactic Assembly, it was neutral ground. No empire controlled it. No weapons were allowed. At least, that's what they said. Inside. Over 30 alien races gathered. Some were tall and scaled. Others had feathers, glowing eyes, or no mouths at all. But all of them had one thing in common. They were tired of war. The war had lasted 50 years. Billions had died. Cities had turned to ash. Earth had joined late, but when humans came, the war changed. Now, finally, peace was possible. On one side of the room, Earth's delegation sat silently. 10 human diplomats in formal black suits. They didn't smile. They didn't speak. Only one woman sat apart from them, quiet, alone, in the back row. She wore black armor, not a suit. Her face was calm, unreadable. No nameplate. No title. She looked out of place. Many alien eyes turned toward her. A few whispered through translators. Who is she? Not listed in the records. She carries no weapons, but that armor. The woman did not move. Her hands rested in her lap. Her dark eyes studied the room, slow and careful, like a predator watching prey. A tall, silver-skinned alien named Victal stepped forward. He raised his hand. Today, he said, we choose peace. We end the fighting. We sign the accord. The crowd gave a soft ripple of approval. Earth's lead diplomat, Ambassador Wells, stood up. Earth agrees, he said. But we demand honesty. No hidden deals. No surprise fleets, only truth. Several alien leaders nodded, but some looked away. Then Victal smirked. Truth, he said coldly. Strange word from a species that bombed cities from orbit. Gasps spread across the room. Ambassador Wells opened his mouth to respond, but someone else moved first. The woman in armor stood up. She moved slowly, like the rise of a shadow. All attention turned to her. She did not walk to the front. She didn't speak yet. She simply stood, still, silent, watching. Who is she? Victal demanded. The room buzzed with confusion. She's not on your list. She's not allowed to speak. Remove her. But none of Earth's diplomats moved. In fact, they looked afraid. Ambassador Wells lowered his head, whispering something under his breath. No one heard what he said. Then the woman in black finally spoke. One word, denied. It wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. But it echoed in the hall like a gunshot. Victal laughed. Excuse me? The woman took one step forward. No peace, she said. Not while your ships wait behind moons. Not while your drones crawl under this station. Lies, shouted another alien leader. Earth spreads lies. But the woman turned her. Hand over. A small device projected blue light into the air. Holograms appeared. Images of hidden fleets, secret messages, cloaked bombers. Proof. The room exploded in noise. Shouts, screams, accusations. She's lying. This is a setup. She's a spy. But Earth's diplomats still didn't move. The woman spoke again, louder now. Earth wanted peace. We begged for it. We lost children for it. But you, she pointed at the alien leaders. You never wanted peace. You wanted surrender. She paused. You thought we'd kneel. Silence. Then she said, you were wrong. The hologram flickered. It showed something else. Now Earth warships. The cloaking above the peace station. Massive, silent. Waiting. Panic spread. This is an act of war. She tricked us. Guards take her. 2 alien guards moved forward. Claws raised. The woman didn't blink. She simply tilted her head. A low tone filled the air. The guards froze mid-step. Paralyzed. Gasps filled the chamber. Victal's voice shook. Who dot dot? Who is she? Ambassador. Wells finally spoke again. She is Protocol 7. The room went still. Everyone knew the name. Protocol 7 was Earth's last option. The final line. A living weapon. Activated only when peace was betrayed. The woman in black looked across the room. No more lies. She said dot, and then she sat down. Calm still, but now. The galaxy was on fire. Asterisk, everyone stared at her dot. She had no nameplate, no title, no official badge. But the moment she stood up, everything changed. The guards were still frozen standing like statues, their eyes wide with fear. She had said only a few words, but those words felt heavier than any weapon. Victol stepped back, breathing hard. This is madness, he whispered. Other alien leaders looked at each other, unsure what to say. Some backed toward the exits. Others reached for secret devices under their robes' devices they were never supposed to bring. But nothing worked. The woman's calm voice echoed again. You planned this summit as a trap, she said. Earth knew. A leader from the Krell species, with 4 burning red eyes, growled, You have no proof. She slowly raised one hand. Light shimmered in the air again. Another projection. This time, it showed a secret message. From one of the alien factions dot. It was simple. Activate strike during Earth's signature. Date. Today. Time. Now dot the peace. Summit wasn't peace dot. It was a setup. The room fell into chaos. One alien tried to run. Another shouted for a private channel. One screamed into a hidden wristband. Abort mission. Abort. But it was already too late. From the back of the hall, a human technician whispered into a wrist mic. They're moving. Outside the station, in the dark of space, Earth's warships shifted. They didn't fire. Not yet, but they made their presence known. They surrounded the entire station dot. No one had even seen them coming. Inside, the woman looked at the Krell leader. You speak of madness, she said. But you brought madness here. Ambassador Wells remained seated. He looked tired, sad, but not surprised. One of the alien advisors stood slowly. A short creature with shimmering skin. Who is she? He asked, voice trembling. She's not a soldier. She's not a diplomat. She doesn't belong. Wells looked at the woman. Then he answered. She doesn't belong anywhere. Anymore. The woman turned toward the alien council. I had a name once, she said, before the last treaty. She paused. My family trusted peace. They went to the first summit. They never came back. Some leaders lowered their heads. I buried my sister with my own hands. Pieces of her. I remember the smell of smoke, the sound of lies. She stepped forward again, slow and steady. I was not trained to speak. I was trained to listen. To wait, to act. Her voice was cold but steady. I waited for this day. She looked up at the ceiling, where the hidden warships now showed as glowing red dots. You brought your fleets. You brought your poison. She pointed at the Krell. Again, but Earth brought something else. Me. No one dared move. One of the alien envoys finally broke the silence. What do you want? Her eyes narrowed. I want you to speak the truth. If you say this summit was honest. She raised her hand again. Then Earth will leave. But if you lie again? The rest of the sentence hung in the air. Victol tried to stand tall. We are not afraid of threats. She smiled just barely. I'm not a threat, she said. I'm a response. The station's lights flickered. The guards, still frozen, suddenly fell to the floor breathing, but unconscious. Her control ended. She didn't even look at them. The Krell leader stepped back, sweat dripping from his strange brow. You are just a shadow, he hissed. No, she whispered. I'm a mirror. She turned and walked past the tables. past Earth's delegation, toward the far wall, where the exit doors stood sealed. Before she reached them, she stopped, spoke one final line. "You wanted to silence Earth." She turned, back slowly, but Earth remembered me. Then she walked out, and the doors closed behind her. But the fear she left behind? That didn't leave at all. Asterisk. She didn't go far. The woman in black armor stood in the quiet hallway behind the chamber doors. Her breathing was calm. Her hands were steady, but her mind was burning. She closed her eyes. Memories came back like fire. She was just a girl. The last time peace talks were held, she wore a yellow dress. Her sister braided her hair. Her parents were diplomats, honest, brave, and hopeful. They trusted the galaxy, but the galaxy did not trust them back. That day, the enemy broke the treaty. Mid-talk. No warning. No honor. Only fire. She had survived by crawling through burning metal. Her voice was silent for 2 years after. But her eyes saw everything. She was reborn in darkness. Earth found her, trained her, changed her. Not for revenge, but for response. Inside the chamber, the leaders were still shouting. Victal slammed a fist on the table. This is warmongering. This is terrorism. But the images still floated above them, proof of betrayal. Hidden ships. Secret messages. Buried plans. Ambassador Wells stood. He looked at the images, then at the others. "We never wanted this," he said, "but you forced our hand." One of the smaller alien delegates, a bird-like creature from the Jari worlds, shook with emotion. "Why? Why didn't you just confront us?" It chirped. "Why send her?" Wells turned his gaze slowly. "She is what we send when words are no longer trusted." In a hidden chamber deep below the summit floor, the woman entered a sealed room. A hologram flickered to life. An older human appeared. "Admiral Yannick, you activated early," he said. She nodded once. "They made their move first." Yannick's voice was flat. "Did they lie?" "Yes." He exhaled. "Then do what you must. But leave the choice open one last time." The hologram vanished. Back in the main hall, the Krell leader stood. "This changes nothing," he said. "We are still in control." But the ceiling changed. Everyone looked up. New holograms appeared, live feeds from across the galaxy. Cameras. Satellites. Spy probes. Dozens of ships were now visible, alien war fleets preparing to strike human colonies. Caught in the act. Broadcast to everyone, even their own people. Some alien leaders went pale. Others collapsed into chairs, defeated. Victal whispered, "They knew all along." The Ikari delegate looked around. How did Earth get this information? Wells didn't answer, but the woman in black, now standing in the shadows behind them, did. "I watched you," she said quietly, "for years." Now everyone turned. She walked back in, not rushed, not loud. Just certain. "I studied your moves, your politics, your habits, your fears." She looked at the Krell. "I knew you'd bring poison." She looked at the Grevok. "I knew you'd send false envoys." Then her voice turned sharp. "And I knew that you would never believe humans could be silent and watching." She stepped to the center of the room. "Because you still see us as the new species. The soft ones, the fragile ones." She looked up. "But you forgot what Earth is." She raised her hand. The feeds above began to show something new. Earth's secret fleet. Not the ships they had seen earlier. No. These were larger, built in silence, hidden inside asteroids, cloaked under storms. And now they moved. One alien fainted. Another dropped a device and backed away. Victal stared in disbelief. "You were preparing for war." She looked at him. "No, we were preparing for betrayal." She stepped forward. But we still give you one chance, one voice, one confession. If even one of you speaks the truth." Her voice softened like a final warning. "Then we hold fire." The Krell said nothing. The Grevek said nothing. All stood still. Then, from the back, a thin old alien stepped forward. His voice cracked. "I was ordered to lie." He turned to his leaders. "I told them Earth was dangerous, that humans must be crushed before they grew too strong." He looked at the woman. "I was wrong. I'm sorry." Silence. The woman closed her hand. The feeds above vanished. The warships stopped moving. But no one in the room could breathe easy, because they had just seen the real weapon. And it wasn't a fleet. It was her. Asterisk. The truth was spoken. One old alien, trembling, had admitted everything. The room was silent. No one clapped. No one cheered, because what he said had broken the lie they all lived under. Peace was never real. It was a trap, carefully made, quietly shared, and nearly perfect, until she stood up. She walked alone through the observation deck. Stars moved slowly. Outside the glass walls, Earth's ships stayed still. In the distance, giants, wrapped in shadow. She pressed one hand against the cold glass and closed her eyes. And she remembered her training. It had started in a place that didn't exist on any map. Deep underground. No sun, no sound, no name, only a number. Facility 9. Children were trained there. Not to fight, but to end fights. Not to speak, but to listen between lies. She had no name there. Only a code. 7, the final number. A memory came back. She was 17. Sitting in front of an old General. He held a tiny flower in his hand. He crushed it. "What do you feel?" he asked. She had replied, "Nothing." He smiled. "Good," he said, "because peace is a flower, beautiful but weak." Then he opened his other hand. Inside was a tiny metal chip. "Now," he said, "what do you feel?" She stared at the chip. It held the power to stop a war. She whispered, "Control." "Exactly," the general said. "That's what peace is built on." Back in the present, her eyes opened. She watched a small ship land on the docking ring. Another. Alien delegation arrived late. The door opened. A tall alien woman stepped out, dressed in pale gold. She looked at the armored human with wide, cautious eyes. "You're her," she said softly. The human didn't answer. The alien stepped closer. "I've heard stories." "Then you've heard too much," the woman said. The alien took a risk. She bowed. "You saved us all from a false treaty." "No," the woman said. "I just gave you a chance to tell the truth." She turned away. "But not all of you took it." In the council chamber, leaders were panicking behind closed doors. One delegate from the Arasi race whispered to another, "She is too dangerous." Another hissed, "We should leave, escape." But someone blocked the doorway. It was her. Back. Again, faster than they expected. She walked to the center and dropped something on the table, a small silver cube. It began to glow. "What's that?" Vital demanded. "A recorder," she said. "A memory unit. Mine." It showed her childhood. Her escape from the first failed. Summit. The bodies. The fire. The betrayal. Then it showed the silent years. The training. The missions. Everything. "You think I came here to destroy you," she said. "But I came here to show you what peace costs us, and what it could have cost you." One leader stood up, shaking. "You were trained to be a weapon." "Yes," she said, "but I chose to be more." The silver cube projected one final message from a human general recorded long ago. "If they lie, we strike," the general said. "If they speak truth," he paused, "we still watch, always." Then the recording ended. Her voice was steady. Earth knew the truth. Peace was never your plan. But we came anyway, because we needed to hear it from you. Then she turned her back to them, and walked away, no threats. No weapons drawn, just silence and fear. Outside the station, the Earth fleet slowly moved again, but not to fire. They turned. One by one, the warships began leaving, disappearing into dark space. No words, no signal. Just withdrawal. In the hall, Vital sank into his chair. She didn't come to fight, he muttered. She came to see if we would deserve peace. The old alien who had confessed wiped a tear from one eye. She gave us a chance to be honest. And then someone else whispered what the entire room was now thinking. And we almost didn't take it. The woman stepped into her ship. The ramp closed behind her. As the engines warmed up, she whispered one last sentence into her comm. Protocol 7 completed. And with that, she vanished into the stars. Asterisk. The news spread faster than light, across star systems. Screens lit up. Emergency broadcasts. Leaked recordings. Every species. Every empire. They all saw her face. They all heard her words. And they all watched as the truth tore the peace talks apart. On the trade world of Ravari 6, merchants froze in the streets. A hologram played above the city square her final words. You think I came to destroy? I came to watch you destroy yourselves. On the military planet Veltron Prime, high generals stared in silence. Dozens of ships had been preparing to strike Earth's colonies, but the operation had been exposed live before the whole galaxy. One admiral whispered, How did they know? Another replied, She knew. She always knew. Back at the neutral peace station, the council chamber was nearly empty. Most delegates had fled. Others sat still, broken by shame or fear. Only a few remained. The old alien who confessed. The bird-like Jari ambassador. And Vital. Vital had not moved. His eyes stared at the silver cube on the table. It was still glowing, still replaying memories. The girl in the flames, the bodies of her family. Her silence. Her training. Her rise. He clenched his jaw. This is what Earth became, he whispered. Inside her ship, the woman sat in silence. The engines hummed beneath her feet. She didn't look back at the station. Instead, she pulled a small photo from a hidden pocket in her armor, a faded imager. As a child, sitting with her sister under a tree, they were smiling. That was before everything shattered. She placed the photo gently on the console. Then she tapped a switch. A soft voice echoed in the cabin. Command, awaiting final authorization. She hesitated. If she said one word, execute, every hidden Earth fleet would fire. Every exposed traitor world would burn. But she didn't say it. She said nothing. In orbit, Earth's main command vessel, Ains Vindicator, held position. Admiral. Yannick stood on the bridge, arms behind his back. Still no signal from her? He asked. No, sir, replied his aide. She's gone silent. Yannick nodded. She's doing what she was trained to do. And what's that, sir? He turned slowly. Make them speak without force. But not all voices were speaking. Some were panicking. Some were plotting revenge. In a shadowed sector near the Zarlan border. The Krell War Council held a secret meeting. She humiliated us, one growled. We cannot let Earth rise further. We must strike now. The leader of the Krell slammed a fist on the table, then unleashed the Crimson Directive. Gasps. You mean the ancient fleet? Yes, he growled. If Earth wants fear, we'll show them what fear truly means. But what they didn't know was that Earth was already watching. High above, a small, black satellite cloaked in starlight recorded everything. And transmitted it. Straight to her. In her ship. The woman opened her eyes. She had the recording now. One more betrayal. One more lie. One more reason Earth could never trust again. But still, she waited. She turned on her internal comms. A voice answered. Ambassador Wells. She's listening, he said to someone in the background. Then he spoke gently. You don't have to carry all of it, Seven. Her voice was low, cold. I already am. He sighed. We can act now. We can strike first. No, she replied. Not yet. Why? She looked at the stars. Because if they speak again, honestly, we win something greater than victory. And if they don't, she touched the old photo one last time. Then we give them what they asked for. In the Galactic Archive Station, a historian whispered to her apprentice. Do you know what just happened? No, the young one said. Only that everyone's afraid. The historian stared at the sky. We just saw a war stopped by a ghost. A ghost? The old one nodded. A woman who rose from fire, who was never meant to exist. And what do we call her? The historian looked down. We don't. We remember her without speaking. Because some legends are born in silence, but they leave echoes loud enough to shake the stars. Asterisk, the galaxy was split. Some empires locked their borders, terrified of what Earth might do. Next, others sent secret messages, asking for talks, real ones this time. But most just waited to see if the woman in black would speak again. Waited to see if Earth would forgive or finish what was started. On Earth, people gathered in silence. In homes, in streets, in the great cities once torn by war. They watched the stars and waited. A little girl held her father's hand and whispered, Is she coming back? The father knelt down. She never left, he said. She's just waiting. In her ship, alone in the black void, the woman stood near the window. No medals, no rank, no name, just armor, silence, and memory. She looked down at a blinking red light. One message, one offer. From the Yakari, the only species who had not betrayed Earth. The message was short. Let us try again. Let us stand beside you now. She said nothing, but her eyes softened, just a little. Back at the neutral station, the remaining council members gathered again. Not by order, not by rule, by choice. Some sat with heads bowed. Others stood silently. The room felt colder. Now changed. The silver tube still rested on the table, still glowing. A recording of all the things no one wanted to remember, but must. Viktal stepped forward. He looked smaller than before. Less proud, less sure. I was wrong, he said. No one interrupted him. I wanted peace on my terms, but peace isn't a prize to steal. It's something you build. He turned slowly. Earth offered us peace, and we gave them lies. He looked around the room, and one woman stood up, not to destroy us, but to stop us from destroying ourselves. No applause, no cheers. Just quiet respect. A beginning. In her ship, a message came through. Council Assembly has voted. They wish to hold a second summit, this time with no lies. Earth may lead it. She didn't answer right away. She stood still. Then she whispered, Not me. I was the shadow, she said. Let someone else bring the light. A shuttle arrived days later. It docked beside her ship. Inside, a young human woman stepped out, dressed in white. No armor, no weapons. She knocked gently on the airlock. The door opened. The woman in black looked at her. You're late, she said. The girl smiled nervously. Traffic near the moons. The woman stepped aside and let her in. You're the new one? The girl nodded. They call me Laya. The woman raised an eyebrow. A name. That's brave. Laya looked around. So, what do I do? The woman reached into a small metal box and pulled out the silver cube. Carry this. she said. Let them see it. Let them remember. Laia took it in both hands, carefully. And you? She asked. The woman walked back to the window. I disappear. Now. Leia frowned. But you saved us all. The woman turned slightly. I was never here to be seen. She pointed to the stars. But you? You go stand in the light. Leia stared at her, then nodded. Thank you. The woman said nothing, just turned away. As the shuttle left. The woman watched it vanish into the stars. No more orders. No more missions. Just silence. And peace. For now. Somewhere in the galaxy, a monument was built. Not on Earth. Not in any capital, but on a small world where no battles had been fought. A simple stone. No name. Just a single sentence carved into the black rock. She stood when truth had fallen, so others could rise again. And across the stars, that stand, that moment, became legend. A moment that changed everything, not because of how loud she shouted, but because she didn't have to. Asterisk. Years passed. The stars moved. Empires shifted. Peace finally came, but no one forgot her, not because she ruled, not because she spoke often, but because she didn't have to. On the planet Kareth, young students sat in a classroom. Their alien teacher pointed at the glowing holoscreen. A silent video played. No sound. Just a woman in black armor walking through fire. Behind her, cities burned. Ahead of her, traders stood frozen. And all she did was stand still. The teacher whispered, Does anyone know her name? A small alien girl raised her hand. She doesn't have one. Correct, the teacher nodded, because she didn't fight for fame. She stood for truth. In a hidden part of Earth, inside an underground archive, a council of old generals met in silence. A man in a chair leaned forward. She never answered her last call. Another replied, She wasn't supposed to. She completed her purpose. Younger officer, curious, asked, What was her mission? They looked at him, then at each other. Finally, one spoke. She was not sent to win peace. She was sent to test if peace could exist. The galaxy didn't forget her, but it never spoke her name again. Instead, it built symbols. In the deepest reaches of space, a black statue floated near a dying star. A woman, head bowed, one hand holding a cube, the other open to the void. No plaque. No lights. Just silence. But ships from every species came to visit. To see the figure that never threatened, only stood. On the edge of the old battlefield zones, old enemies now worked together. Human engineers and Krell scientists rebuilt ruined planets. They used the same technology once meant for war, now turned to heal. One Krell commander placed a small pin on his chest, a black insignia of a standing figure. A young worker beside him asked, Is that for your military unit? No, he said. It's for the one who stopped us from becoming monsters. On a quiet moon orbiting Earth's third colony, a garden bloomed where a military bunker once stood. In the middle, a small stone sat. Engraved words. She never gave orders. She gave the galaxy a mirror, and beneath it, in human and alien language, When you forget what peace costs, remember her. Far away, in a place no star chart showed, an old ship floated silently through space. Inside, she sat alone. Hair, now silver. Armor dulled by time. Still watching, still listening. She didn't need missions anymore. Didn't need permission. She had become something else. Not a soldier, not a spy, not even a human legend, but a silent promise. A message pinged. Small colony near the edge of the Andromeda. Rift had been attacked. Unknown ships, false flag, signatures. Rumors of betrayal. She didn't sigh. She didn't hesitate. She stood. Just like before. Not for glory, not for revenge, but because someone had to. And somewhere, on some world, a child asked, "Is she real?" His grandfather, a survivor of the old war, knelt beside him. He smiled gently. "She's not a hero, not even a name. She's the reason we still have stars to wish on. Because in the end, some wars are ended with fire, but the greatest ones end when one woman stands alone and does not blink. The end asterisk."